run us through the agenda of conference season, and we'll talk about kind of what they are, why they're there, the purpose of them is.
So the first is Monte Carlo Rendezvous. That tends to be the big European one to kick things off.
Which we'll both be there for.
Which we'll both be there for.
Jared's selfishly getting married.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't even factor in Monte Carlo Rendezvous. But also podcasting there again this year, which will be exciting.
Podcasting.
So look for more
From
yacht,
the super yacht.
from yacht-related podcasting. So come say hi if you're planning to be in Monte Carlo.
Please do. Please do. After that, there's a Deloitte Reinsurance Conference in London the week after Monte Carlo. So everybody should be coming back feeling refreshed. It's mainly around kind of seeded reoperations.
Yep.
So a little bit of a different agenda.
And you're a keynote speaker from what I remember as well.
Yeah, I think everybody who's speaking is a keynote. So I don't want to big that up too much. But no, we've been invited to come on with a client, actually, with Hiscox. And talk through kind of how we've helped them over the last couple of years.
Nice.
Hopefully share some learnings there.
Awesome.
Nice. And after we get out of PwC, where do we go next?
Or Deloitte, in fact.
Deloitte.
Because we do have some secret plans in Monte Carlo as well.
Oh, that's right.
Watch this space.
To be announced. So after that is the APCIA conference, which is in Chicago this year. It tends to be the American version of a Baden-Baden or a Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
So most of the big North American P&C carriers represented there.
I think they should have done it somewhere with an F1 track, though. Like the vibe in Monte Carlo is just a different vibe because it has this history of, you've got the James Bond references, you got the famous Formula One races. Like Chicago just feels a bit, it's a nice, big U.S. city, but doesn't have the sort of allure of Monte Carlo from the sex appeal.
Yeah, so APCIA moves around. It's in a different location every year. And we've only been going for a couple of years. So I think the first one that we went to was Seattle, and then Boston, and now Chicago.
Yeah.
But when you look at the roster of previous locations, there have been some absolutely beautiful Rocky Mountain locations or beach resorts down in southern Florida, and kind of thinking, what have we done to deserve Chicago in mid-October?
Yeah, starting to get crisp. Yeah,
your fiance and soon-to-be in-laws are all from Chicago. I hope they don't listen to this episode.
No, I know, that's goodbye wedding.
If you are listening, your city is cold in the winter,
very windy. No, perfect. And then we start moving back to Europe. Then after that, isn't it? It's
so Baden-Baden's a couple of weeks after that.
Yeah,
which is. Tends to be where the real business is done. I think Monte Carlo is, a lot of aspirational, strategic chats, and suddenly I think everybody has a better idea as to how the renewal season is going to pan out.
I promised quite a lot of people that I would speak to them in German this year at the conference last year, so that's going to be interesting.
German stroke French, wasn't it?
German and French, I think I might have promised.
Yeah, you've made several sets of promises there.
Yeah. Pressure's on.
Well, this can only go one way.
I'm mainly just going to watch. Yes, that's always a good one. That's always really good for us. We've been really lucky last few years that people have been really generous with their time, and we've been able to have some really productive conversations around how to move things forward. We may be podcasting there again as well. We
had to figure it out.
Hosted a podcast last year in front of Leo's.
Getting some thumbs up from the marketing department lurking behind the scenes.
Bar. So we plan to be there again for an evening of podcasting where things become very easily releasable with almost no editing at the start of the evening, and then at the end many more approvals are required.
Yeah, sadly, at the spa with Supercede wasn't approved.
No.
No, I think clothes are some of the spas there. So.
No, this is true. We could do the first non-video version of the podcast, but we would lose some allure.
Yeah. And then only one left then before the end of the year. Cirque.
Yeah, so Cirque is first week in November.
Yep.
So that's big one in Singapore for the Asia Pacific region mostly. You do see a lot of kind of super regional carriers there as well. So it's a big one for Indian cedents, Australian cedents, as well as kind of Southeast Asia and Greater China.
Yeah.
That's just getting bigger and bigger as an event. And so I think last year was like nearly double the size of the year before. And it just continues to get bigger. Thankfully, it's held at the Marina Bay Sands conference complex, which it takes up like 30% of it at the moment, and it's by far the biggest conference in terms of attendees of the year. So